Don't be that guy that brings Tupperware. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be an asshole, right? Your family prepared this lovely dinner for you. Vigorous Steve here with a couple tips on how to survive this upcoming Christmas family dinner. Because we all know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to go there, you're going to eat too much, and then by the end of Christmas, you're going to hate yourself because now you're fat. And then you look at the calendar with a couple days left before this year is done and over with New Year's Eve coming up, you completely fall off the wagon. And now you start to eat like your schedule is completely out of the door. And then when you look in the mirror on January 3rd or 5th even, you look at yourself with disgust and disappointment, wondering how you could have let yourself go so far, right? And now you're the worst thing, the thing that you hate, all these new people that sign up to the gym on January 1st, you've become a New Year's resolutionist because you have a lot of damage to undo, all this food that you ate over the holidays, and now you have to do hours and hours and hours of cardio afterwards to get into somewhat respectable shape again. Now I know exactly what you're going to say, but Steve, I like my family Christmas dinner. I like to eat what I want and feel a little bit miserable the next day, a little bit stuffed and full and fatty and bloated and all that good stuff, right? I don't really mind what happens. And I understand to a certain extent, right? It's all about balance and not disappointing your mom for cooking all of this wonderful food that she's presenting to you once a year when you're going back to your family to have this special Christmas dinner. Right? You should have balance and you should eat what your mom prepared for you with love and sanitation and care in mind. But you can still make right decisions to not get into this spiral that happens between Christmas and New Year. And now you have to pick up the pieces and get yourself back together somewhere in the first week of January when you're already fat and miserable and not looking like you should be looking when you're into the fitness or bodybuilding lifestyle. Don't be that guy that brings Tupperware. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be an asshole, right? Your family prepared this lovely dinner for you. You're not going to bring Tupperware. You're not going to go there and talk about your bodybuilding lifestyle and that you're only going to eat chicken and broccoli and brown rice. Nobody gives a shit. Really, your family doesn't care about that shit whatsoever. So don't even bother. If you want to bring a whey protein shake in a little baggie, don't bring the whole jug with you. Just bring a couple shakes pre-prepared so you can drink that in the bathroom outside of everybody's vision. Because the last thing you want is this Christmas dinner to turn into a discussion about bodybuilding. Again, this Christmas dinner is about your family, not about your bodybuilding aspirations. Because again, general population doesn't really give a shit, right? So wear some clothes where you're covering up. You don't have to be bulging out of the seams with your veins popping left and right. Just wear that red Christmas sweater, cover up, and ask the questions during your Christmas dinner. Ask how your family is doing. Don't go into a discussion where it's about bench pressing and following a strict diet. Don't be that guy. Nobody likes that guy. That guy doesn't get invited next year. So the first thing you can do before you go to Christmas dinner is a little bit of carbohydrate depletion, right? Just go into a ketogenic state or do a little bit of a low carb diet so you have a low glycogen state, so you have something to capture all of this caloric surplus that you're going to expose yourself to. Because it's not just the Christmas dinner that you're going to, it's the Christmas lunch and then the Christmas brunch and then the Christmas dinner. Perhaps a little bit of alcohol and some dessert afterwards. And if you're staying over with your family, right, then you're going to have the second day Christmas breakfast also. So there's a lot of caloric consumption that is going to happen. So let's do a little bit of a depletion before we go to our family Christmas dinner. Do a little bit of extra cardio, maybe do a little bit of extra sets during a workout and reduce the carbohydrates to 50% or 0 or whatever you can tolerate for these next couple of days that are leading into Christmas. I already made a video about how to incorporate a mini diet. I'll link it at the end of this video so you can deplete properly. When you eat your family Christmas dinner, you're going to be presented with a lot of different food, right? A typical family Christmas dinner consists of turkey and stuffing or ham or steak or gravy, potatoes, all that good stuff, right? Potato salad. I'm getting really hungry and I'm looking forward to it just as you are. But with all these food options available to you, there's going to be some that you can leave on the table, and there's going to be some that you can use to stuff your face with, if that's your goal, right? In the end, You don't want to disappoint your family members and just eat normally at the same pace that they are eating. But with a couple restrictions, you can actually prevent yourself from gaining too much fat. So why don't we eat the protein first and then the salad on the side? Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of different salads, but if you go with a salad that contains a decent amount of vegetables, so not a potato salad with a lot of mayonnaise, that's a different kind of salad, but you can have a scoop here and there, right? It's all about caloric management. And this whole act of you consuming something with your family members creates unity and wholesomeness for this family dinner that only happens once per year. So just select the healthiest choices that are available to you, starting with the protein and the vegetables. You can have some stuffing, but you have a scoop. You can have some blueberry pie, but you just have a slice, not the whole pie. Don't be that guy that eats the rest of the pie when the family members are done. But you can sample everything, but it's the portion that you choose to consume that is going to determine whether you're going to have to do hours of cardio after New Year, or you go about your business right after Christmas and have a productive week in between Christmas and New Year. So make the best decisions you can with what's presented at the table. And because you already did a little bit of a depletion leading into this Christmas dinner, your glycogen stores should be sufficiently depleted to catch some of this caloric surplus that you're going to be having during this dinner and maybe the next day during breakfast. Now, regarding alcohol, which in many cases is going to be consumed, I would limit it to 1 or 2 glasses. Right? You don't want to get into this clusterfuck of alcohol abuse, especially for the bodybuilders who abstain from alcohol for most of the year, as do I. Right? I maybe have a glass of alcohol or 2 during a birthday or some sort of event like a family Christmas dinner, which for me is not really going to happen because, well, my family is in Holland and I'm in Thailand. So instead, I'll just be going out with my wife. We might have 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol, and that's where we draw the line. Because I don't want to go into this full-blown alcoholic mode that might last for a couple days leading into New Year, which is also going to be an event where alcohol is involved. Now, if you're going to be drinking alcohol, I would limit that to wine or whiskey, or maybe a vodka if you prefer so, which in my opinion doesn't really match with a Christmas dinner. But hey, if that's your thing, go right ahead. So I think it's totally fine to have a glass of alcohol or 2. I would stick with the ones with a little bit of higher percentage alcohol so you get to sip and don't have to overdo the calories, resulting in hours and hours of cardio afterwards. And if you're on a full-blown cycle with a ton of orals, then it's probably best to skip the alcohol entirely and go with cranberry juice or prune juice instead, which is allegedly a warrior's drink. And there's always cigars, guys. Cigars don't have calories, and the nicotine that you're consuming sublingually or through the saliva ducts might speed up your metabolic rate and suppress your appetite to a certain extent. So perhaps 1 glass of whiskey, 18 years old, 12 years old, double cask, for example, whatever brand you prefer, and a nice Dominican or Cuban cigar on the side, and your evening is now complete, right? Make sure you bring enough cigars to share with your family because smoking cigars alone is not really enjoyable. Now that brings us to the dessert. Again, if there's going to be a lot of dessert options, why don't we have a little slice of each, right? You sample each different desserts that is presented to you. Hopefully you didn't pick out on the carbohydrates before we ended up at the desserts, which generally contain a lot of carbohydrates. So if you stick with the protein and the vegetables during dinner, you had a little bit of a cigar and a whiskey afterwards to kind of let everything settle and digest. And now you're going in for seconds being the desserts. So you just have a little sample of each, especially if this dessert is homemade and now you owe it to your family to try a little bit of all of them. And if you're still somewhat depleted, then you shouldn't wake up the next day feeling super, super bloated. I really hope this helps, guys. I'll make another video coming a new year, a little bit of a pep talk so you don't overdo it and turn into a New Year's resolutionist. So whatever happens, just make sure that you behave to a certain extent, right? You can still enjoy your evening without turning it into a clusterfuck that you're now going to have to manage afterwards. And when in doubt, just take yourself away from the dinner. You walk to a mirror, and you give yourself a little pep talk. You take your mom's cooking in one hand and your selfish fitness or bodybuilding aspirations in another hand. And you just outweigh, right? You have a little bit of a review of your performance during Christmas family dinner. Did I satisfy my mom? Is she happy with the amount of food that I ate? And did I not do too much damage to my body, resulting in hours of cardio for the next couple of weeks, right? just balance it out. You can do that every hour, or just say that you're taking a bathroom break. You go to the mirror, you assess, you review, and then you proceed ahead with the right decisions possible. And I really hope this helps, guys. I wish you all a very wonderful and wholesome Christmas family dinner. I'm a little bit jealous of the guys that get to spend their Christmas with their family, because for me, well, all of my family is in Holland while I'm living in Thailand. So the only thing I can really do is have a little bit of a Zoom conference call while they're eating their Christmas dinner. I'll be somewhere towards the end of the day because of the time difference. So make sure you enjoy it. Right? Don't overdo it, but don't disappoint your family members by bringing the Tupperware. I used to do that in the past, and I wish I could take it back, honestly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. You know where to find me for the consultations. You know where to find my ebooks. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. Please have a look at my workout clips channel, Vigorous to the Max, where all of my best working sets will be uploaded. Some of the shorts already got 10,000 views, so that's pretty cool to see. A link down below so you can subscribe and be an early adopter to the Vigorous to the Max YouTube channel. Have a look at some of these videos which are related so you can get educated by yours truly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.